This is the Speaking Challenge Part 3, Summer Setback. Summer setback is used to describe the term that students forget everything or almost everything they've learned over the past year in school because of the summer, mostly down to the fact that nobody learns anything whilst they're in their merry holidays. However, in my opinion, everyone can learn something even in the summer. And there was a statement that richer people have these kids that learn everything and they don't have any regression. I find that to be absurd. It mostly boils down to the fact that richer families, yes, they do have the options to go to museums, travel around and such. However, in my opinion, good luck learning advanced mathematics whilst you're traveling around in museums and such. I honestly do not believe it. I instead believe that both of them are roughly similar. It honestly comes down to the motivation of each child. There are those that really want to sit around doing nothing, and then there are those that actually want to educate themselves whilst they are doing something in the holidays. In addition to that, I think that the rich kids also want to rest up a little from school from time to time, which is quite important. Now, in my opinion, the main problem is that the students do forget everything they've learned. I think that there are drastic options and some less so drastic. Firstly, it should come down to the parents to remind their kids to learn a little bit of something, or to do some revisions during their summer break time. In addition, it also should fall down to each child to learn a little bit before they go back to school, so that they don't start off from scratch. In addition to that, I believe that teachers and other educational materials should encourage these sort of lessons. These lessons in summer. However, I think that the best option would be to simply put up summer courses, where a kid can just go on, test their knowledge, and then come back every two weeks in order to remember everything that they've, to keep the knowledge up to date. That way, each kid, no matter how rich or how poor, so in a way, could still learn and maintain their skills and knowledge, whilst at the same time not boiling down to visiting museums and such. Again, I honestly do not believe that rich kids learn more. It more or less comes down to how each parent teaches their kid. There are those uptight parents who believe that their kids should learn 24/7, 365, and then there are those that are lenient. I believe that those lenient folks are more of the poor families. Now, the more drastic option that there is to stop these sort of setbacks would be to simply say, oh, too long of a summer break for you. Yes, so the option would be to simply just reduce these summer break periods from 3 months to, say, a month. That way, a kid still remembers everything when he gets back to school, but at the same time, he still has a break. Of course, you would have to put those extra 2 months somewhere in the other semesters. But at the same time, reducing these options also reduces the options for kids throughout these break periods. And even though it is quite an interesting solution, it's also quite drastic. As I said, the best option would be to simply add these courses for kids. Now, at the same time, it would take a lot of work, and probably a lot of money, which sadly is an actuality in modern times. The main problem that I see is motivation, again. Proper motivation to teach kids. To teach kids that they have to actually learn and refresh their knowledge. It, again, comes down to motivation. Teachers should do a lot more work to motivate the kids to learn. Because education mostly boils down to how well the teacher explains to his students the necessities of learning and the ways you can learn. Though other options certainly exist, such as simply parents motivating their kids. Of course, traveling to museums is quite an interesting idea. I mean, those kids will actually learn something. However, again, good luck learning from a museum how to calculate logarithms and things like that. True, you can learn a bit of mathematical history in a museum, for instance. However, it's purely subjective. And again, mostly comes down to how rich you are. Though there are many museums out there that are actually free. So to sum up, kids need to be properly motivated in order for them to actually learn something, but at the same time, it should be down to the students themselves to learn, and it should be up to the parents to motivate them. With a little bit of education in the middle of these summer breaks, there will never be problems. And kids will actually remember something between their summer breaks. Or to just simply reduce the summer breaks, but which kid would love their summer being reduced to nothing? No one. I say no one. Now enjoy the rest of this destruction as we do some things and purge some heretics. Also, sorry for the click noises. I thought I muted the game. Instead, it turns out that it didn't mute the sound effects. Some of them. But it's only a small price to pay. I hope that this little mini challenge series has been interesting. Thank you for listening in on this.